All right, everybody. So we are back after a several month hiatus. I am, I have made a number of plans about what I'm going to do with this channel and with this live stream. Um, have some new technology, a new microphone. Hopefully, this is sounding a little bit better than the first 5 episodes. Now, this episode that I'm doing right now it's going to be quick. I don't plan on speaking for like 2 hours. It may turn into that. I don't know. But what I wanted to do was to get caught up to talk a little bit about some of the things that I have been doing. Now, if you'll remember, some of the things that I've been talking about on this channel in this stream are what does it mean to be creative from a biblical sense? We are creators in the same way that God is a creator. And one of the main reasons why I'm even interested in this subject is because I believe that I've been given a sense of creativity myself, like a lot of people out there. I would say that a teacher or a doctor, they have a sense of creativity. So my own sense of creativity, I put a lot of stuff out there, everything from my what you would call day job. I use a lot of my creative talents for that. But I wanted to speak a little bit about specific projects that I'm doing along with a number of people. One of the big things that I have been working on for a number of years, and it's a big countdown. Gentleman by the name of Levi Skeen and I have been working on an independent comic, a graphic novel called Galaxy Memorial Park. And Galaxy Memorial Park is, if you can imagine Arlington Memorial Cemetery for superheroes, that is the gist of this story. And if you've ever read a comic, if you've ever seen a superhero movie, if you've read a superhero comic or seen a superhero movie like a Marvel movie from DC, such as a Batman movie or a Superman movie, you'll know that one of the common things that will happen in a superhero story, just like any mythical story featuring larger than life, very powerful individuals, is the intrigue and the adventure does not stop at death. Sometimes they come back again. Sometimes they are replaced with other characters. But that is the same thing that is happening in Levi and my story, Galaxy Memorial Park. I have a video here which I want to play, and this is our trailer. This is, if you want to get the gist of what Galaxy Memorial Park is all about, like a sense impression, this would be what I would play in order for somebody that would want to back this project. This is what it is. So I will play this, and this is the gist of Galaxy Memorial Park right here.
In the heart of a major city, in a place raised to honor Earth's past protectors, the world will again learn, sometimes, superpowered intrigue doesn't stop at the grave. Galaxy Memorial Park, Volume 1, beginning crowdfunding Memorial Day 2025.
So as the video explains, this is a crowd-funded effort. This is a story which all told is going to be well over 300 pages worth of illustrated story. This is a graphic novel which it spans a short space of time, but all of the backstory to it, all of the events that have happened have happened over well over a century worth of superhero adventures, mythic mythic quests, rivalries, battles, things that you would get in any typical superhero world. And there is an actual world to Galaxy Memorial Park. Galaxy Memorial Park, in order to fully realize this story, Levi and I had to sit down and to think of, we have thought of well over 100 characters. They range and they span all throughout time, from the Old West to the early 20th century, through World War I, World War II, and the 1950s, the Cold War. All of these very important events have they all play a part in this story as a foundation for what is going on in this story. There, the tagline, as you heard, is super powered intrigue does not stop at the grave, and that's exactly what this is. As you can imagine, a memorial cemetery for superheroes is a very secure place. There's all sorts of protocols in place to help keep vandals, thieves, intruders. You could easily imagine a supervillain in this superhero world going, I'm going to take the remains of Captain Super, and I'm going to do some Frankenstein style mad scientist experiment, and I'm going to create an unstoppable army of soldiers using little tiny bits of the remains of Captain Super. And in order to make sure that that doesn't happen, Galaxy Memorial Park has all sorts of security, and that security both high tech, science fiction-y, and there's magic involved. The thing about the superhero genre is it encompasses many different other kinds of genres in order to create it. There's science fiction, there is high tech, there is street level like crime and like crime wars. There is like I said, big events like world wars, disasters. There are mythological components to it. There's elements of horror and terror. All of these genres come together to put together the superhero genre. The superhero genre, which came out, of course, in the 1930s with Siegel and Schuster's Superman. They took, and others that followed, all of these different costumed heroes, caped heroes, what were referred to as long underwear heroes, because they would wear these costumes which would be form-fitting, and it almost looked like long underwear. In fact, you would have um, you would have parody characters that would be dressed up in long, red long johns, sometimes with the flap in the back half unbuttoned to make them look ridiculous. But these these um, these took a lot of ideas because they were created during the heyday of the Great Depression, where everybody was scrambling to make money, to keep their nostrils above the waterline. People that would write, they would go, I gotta have a story idea. So they would take something that they had read in a pulp story, a pulp science fiction like Amazing Stories, or a pulp hero like The Shadow or Doc Savage. They would take these ideas and then just blend them all together because they would have to tell some sort of story. And not just the writers, but the artists. And sometimes the writers and the artists were the same person. So if you needed to come up with an idea every single month, or maybe 2 or 3 times a month, you would cannibalize stories that were already out there. You would think of myths and legends from history, from Arthurian legend, or like Greek myths, and you would put them into this, and it all seems fairly cut and dried, but in a way it's not. But that is the thing that is so cool about the superhero genre, is you could do stuff like time travel and a mythological quest, and a mythological quest that starts in a fantasy world and then winds up in a galactic empire somewhere. And it would have to be done in a way that makes sense. So when Levi Skeen and I came up with this idea, we had to come up with with characters from a broad range of different kinds of genres. So let me talk a little bit about our characters that we have. So in a lot of mainstream comic book companies such as Marvel or DC, I'll use DC as an example. DC has 2 or 3 main characters. I mean, both companies do. But when you think of DC Comics, you think of their 2 main superheroes. The first one is Superman, the second one, Batman. So they are the big 2 of that company. When we sat down and thought of who are going to be our main ones, are one of the main characters that Levi himself is just loves is Marvel's Captain America. So we thought of what is a character that is similar to Captain America but is not Captain America. We don't want to just do a ripoff, but at the same time, this character has to have enough of a recognizable red, white, and blue persona that people that love Captain America or Superman, because Superman was also the big blue Boy Scout, the good guy that was out there saving little old ladies from muggers and cats that were stuck in trees and things like that. And so we came up with a character by the name of he went through many different kinds of names and 2 or 3 different costume changes. What is this guy going to look like? And then what we came up with is a guy by the name of U.S. Arrow. And U.S. Arrow he is half Navajo and half Caucasian. And because he is half Navajo and he actually grows up into his Caucasian parentage. His immediate mother and father were killed actually as he was being born. And there's quite a story behind that. But he had 2 sets of grandparents that raised him. The Caucasian was a very powerful senator in the United States Senate, and the other was an older Navajo couple living on a Navajo reservation. And the senator is very progressive, very very set in his ways, but at the same time he's very progressive, and let's change the world and let's get rid of tradition and things like that. And his grandparents from his Navajo father, they're more traditional. They're home and hearth, and they actually had a Christian worldview. So you had progressive, kind of a leftist progressive, upper class, upper crust, halls of power set of grandparents, and then a more traditional, family oriented, kind of conservative way of doing things from his Navajo side. So you put these 2 things together, and then you get U.S. Arrow, a Captain America character, but who is he's, instead of a World War II character out of place and out of time like Captain America, he's a Vietnam era hero. His whole thing is he has trick arrows, and a lot of his inspirations were Green Arrow, Hawkeye, characters like that. And I loved the hero with the bow and arrow. And one of the reasons for that is David Morrell's character, Rambo. So there is more than a little bit of Rambo to U.S. Arrow, but instead of being like an unstoppable killing machine, in keeping in tradition with older comics, he is a character that is going to punish evil, but he's not going to take a life unless it's absolutely unavoidable. And even then, it will torture him if it's absolutely unavoidable. But his whole thing is he wants to save lives. The Batman. So you have, just like you have Superman representing mercy and saving people, you have Batman representing darkness, justice, no nonsense. He represents the wrath of God, swooping down and making things right. And that character is the Drifter. That is our quote unquote Batman character, our dark justice character. The Drifter is a character who has been alive for over 100 years. He started out as a no account cattle drover who gets angry at one of his bunkmates, shoots him dead, goes out, steals a horse, rides out into a snowstorm, and then the horse dies of exposure because he's at the end of his rope. He's like, I don't care. I'm just going to keep riding until the horse dies, and then I'm going to keep riding until I die in this Montana snowstorm. And then as the horse is dead and he's just wandering into the woods, this wooded mountainous area that he's escaped to, a wilderness area in the middle of this Montana snowstorm. And it's there that he's given a choice. He is visited by, just like the old song, ghost riders in the sky. We can't call them ghost riders, of course, for obvious reasons, but he is visited by a group called the Haint Riders. And the Haint Riders, they swoop in and they give him a choice. And they say, you have murdered somebody in cold blood, and God has seen you and he's going to have mercy on you, but it's a very severe mercy that he's going to have. And he's offered the choice. He can take the mark of Cain, just like the Bible, and that mark of Cain will protect him and keep him from death until God says, okay, I'm done. Go have your rest. But the drifter drifts everywhere. He walks everywhere. He cannot ride a horse. He cannot drive a vehicle. He has to be taken from place to place if he is not going to be walking there by foot. Just like Cain was cursed to wander into the lands east of Eden, same thing happened to the drifter. He is cursed to wander the rest of his days and go where God sends him and distribute justice. That is his punishment, and that is his sort of work. It's a curse and a blessing all in one. And just like other characters, he is deathless, not only because of, he's not going to die. You could, just like the character Wolverine, the Marvel character Wolverine, you could blow him up, you could burn him, you could shoot him, you can poison him. He's gonna heal, and he's gonna come back. So he is immortal, and he has been walking the earth for over 100 years until, waiting for God to go, okay, I'm done. And then he will go to his reward. And his character, the drifter, was based on Clint Eastwood in the movie High Plains Drifter. And High Plains Drifter is a gothic western with a very scary cowboy character. Now, just like Rambo in U.S. Arrow, the High Plains Drifter, as portrayed by Clint Eastwood, is, again, a killing machine. He's merciless, pitiless. If you get in his way and he thinks that you deserve it, he will basically shoot you without a moment's hesitation. Drifter, on the other hand, because he is living out a curse because he took a life in cold blood, he cannot take a life. He's very good. He has, a couple of pistols that are supernatural in nature, but his whole thing is he will shoot to wound. Now, he will shoot to wound, and that will result. You think that, you think of shooting to wound and you think of, being shot in the leg. Oh, ouch, that hurts. Oh, I'm going to drag my wounded leg behind me as I try to get away from you. No, he's not quite that simple. He will shoot you, not to kill you, but he will shoot you and keep on shooting maybe even parts off of you that will not kill you, but will fill you with all sorts of pain. And he doesn't need to use his guns either. He can use his fists, knives. He can beat you with the chair or some other bludgeoning object just to distribute pain. And he does that especially to ones that have caused pain to somebody else, to distribute justice. He is not the executioner, but he has acted as the judge and the jury. So you have, just like Superman and Batman, they clash often, but there's a love-hate relationship. They're friends, but they argue a lot. And the thing that makes these two characters so awesome, I believe, is that they are both very uniquely American characters. You have U.S. Arrow, an Indian, a native, and then you have Drifter, a cowboy. Cowboy and an Indian and a cowboy. You just don't get more patriotic than that. You just don't get more American than that. And I think that's something I'm very proud of. I could talk about all sorts of characters. If you go to our X, like our X account, you can actually see a lot of our posts where you can read about all sorts of characters that make up the world of Galaxy Memorial Park. There is the Aquanaut. There is the Mystery Woman. There is... So one of the... let me tell you about one more character. So DC, they have their main two, but they also have a trinity as well. They have three main characters. They have the main two, but you add a third in there. And then, you could keep adding on from there. Superman and Batman. And then you could keep going with Flash and Green Lantern and all the rest. Marvel, it's hard to say who the two big two are besides Captain America and Spider-Man. Those are too big, but you've also got the Hulk, you've got Thor. You really can. That's Marvel. But in DC, you really can boil it down to three main characters that are the face. Superman and Batman, the big two, and then Wonder Woman. These three make up the Trinity. His name escapes me, but there was an artist that did a series of graphic novels, a graphic novel series of about 3 chapters, and he called it Trinity. And it had to do with an adventure that Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman all have together. See if somebody remembers that. Hang on just a second. Matt Wagner. I can't believe I forgot his name. Matt Wagner was the one that did this. But that's so there is also a third very important character. And along with US Arrow and the Drifter, you've got a character by the name of Silverbug. Silverbug, sometimes I can't tell which character I personally love the most. US Arrow, because he is the epitome of everything that's good and upright. The Drifter, because he's just such a bad dude. He is Clint Eastwood, one of my favorite actors of all time. But Silverbug, there's something about that character that I just love, because Silverbug is an inventor. She is a high-tech inventor along the lines of Tony Stark from Marvel, Iron Man, and also Peter Parker, Spider-Man from Marvel. And I found it interesting that the movies took Spider-Man and Iron Man and kind of put them together, in Spider-Man's high-tech gear, that he got during, especially around the Endgame Infinity War movies. Silverbug is a woman, a lady, and the thing that I love most about this character is she is absolutely indomitable. She personifies the fighting spirit. She has armor that that helps make her not unbeatable, but yet it's really hard to beat her, because she's got armor that helps her to keep from being shot or blown up, but she just has this fighting spirit. Nobody can get Silverbug down. No matter how bad things get, she's always there with this fighting grin on, going, come on, guys. Don't just sit there feeling sorry for yourself. This villain is getting the best of us. Let's do something about it. And she's kind of like, and I did not do this, as I was writing her character, this character that Levi and I put together, but as the writer, as I was writing her dialogue and kind of coming up with different things to, about her background, the thing that I realized that she should have a real smart aleck sense of humor. That one of the things that she does, and this is something that I heard somebody describe about Spider-Man. I didn't want to make her a Spider-Man clone, almost like, you've got your Superman, Captain America, and US Arrow, and your Batman in the Drifter. But with Silverbug, you do have a little bit of that Spider-Man, where she uses the tactic of humiliation, of getting an opponent so angry that he can't see straight, because an angry opponent is a sloppy opponent, and she uses that to her advantage. She won't treat things as seriously. She's very serious, but she disguises that seriousness with like I said, with a with kind of a smart aleck way of doing things. And her costume, especially when she started out, like in the 1970s, the early 70s, late 60s, her costume almost looked comical in and of itself, like she was like a character in a kid's show almost. So when she would use this high-tech armor to take down big, big, strong, Goodfellas types, she would take out these big bruisers, and she would be getting the best of them, and it would just drive them nuts. What is this smart alecky woman is kicking our butts, and she's insulting us to our face, and we can't seem to get anything over on her. And no matter what happens, she always winds up on top of the situation, no matter how bleak things get. You think that she's gone, you think that she's done. Like the cat that came back, she always comes back. And it's like, how do we get rid of her? I don't know how to get rid of her. She's going to take us down. She's going to destroy our empire here. What are we going to do? That's the aspect of Silverbug that I love so much. So these are the three main characters, but I could go on and on and on. I may possibly talk about various characters in this stream. This stream itself, I am still kind of working things out. I do want to interview more people. And again, I don't want to just interview, say, quote unquote, comic book people or, yes. So Levi is here. I'll probably bring him on. So as I was saying, I really want to do some more interviewing. He's probably going to be the next one that I interview. I've talked with Rex Christian, a comic book creator and also a poet. And I've also interviewed Doc Blaylock, another comic book creator and an impressionist painter. Levi Skeen is the main artist for Galaxy Memorial Park here. And I'm probably going to talk to him. So, we'll kind of set that up. There's a lot of different things that I would like to talk with him about to share with you, the audience. But he's here on the, so there we go. Levi Skeen, leaving them as mad as a Home Alone villain. Exactly. That is exactly the idea. They're dangerous. Nobody crosses them. They'll make you disappear. They'll make your family disappear. And here's this ridiculous looking little woman kicking their butts. And that's the thing that, her character, I think is very, 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 very cool. So yes, Levi, that's exactly it. All right. So I've been going for almost about 45 minutes here. I do want to talk a little bit about, so it's a crowdfunding effort Galaxy Memorial Park is. It is going to be crowdfunding. The campaign will begin Memorial Day of 2025. That's next year, toward the end of May, the beginning of next June. We have a lot of work to do before then. And one of the things that we're doing to kind of get people, to kind of keep them informed as to what's going on, we have X. We have an X account, which is GMP Comic at X. So GMP Comic at X. We are also on Instagram, which is Galaxy Memorial Park Comic, at Instagram.com. We also have a Galaxy Memorial Park YouTube channel. We have those 3 social media posts. We post things mostly to X and Instagram, but we will post things to YouTube from time to time. I plan on using the sub creators to talk more and more about Galaxy Memorial Park and other things that I am going to be working on and have been working on for a while that I'm just not ready to share just yet. Still kind of getting those done. So let me just share a couple of things. So we have a newsletter. Let me share something here. So here is, all right. All right. So our newsletter, what do you get with the newsletter? The newsletter, you not only get insights, it's not just going to be a tool. We're about 3 issues or editions in to our newsletter. You can get our newsletter. It's absolutely free. But with your newsletter, it isn't just a marketing tool. We really want it to be something where you're able to look forward to getting this thing in your inbox every, right now we're doing it every Wednesday. We may cut that back to every other Wednesday. Like I said, we're only on our 3rd issue. But we don't want to lose anybody's interest. What you don't just get, hey, this is what's going on with Galaxy Memorial Park. You also get a free short story about characters from Galaxy Memorial Park. So I would suggest that QR code that you've got up on your screen right now. I'm hoping that this is being shared right now. This is, if you scan that, it will send you to a sign-up sheet. And if you read what you said, what our graphic here says, if you sign up for the free Galaxy Memorial Park newsletter, if you're one of the first 100 to sign up for the newsletter and also back Galaxy Memorial Park Volume 1, you will get a free hand-drawn sketch card by Levi Skeen. Sign up, be one of the first 100. We have a number of people that are signed up. We still have room for you to be that one of those 100 signers. So again, we'll have you on record as one of the first 100 signers to sign up for the newsletter. And also, if you back Volume 1 of Galaxy Memorial Park, as I said, Galaxy Memorial Park, we're talking about like a 300-page graphic novel, and we're dividing it up in about 4. It may even wind up being 5. We're hoping to just kind of keep it to 4, but the last volume is going to be, it's going to be pretty thick. It's going to be a pretty big book. So Memorial Day of 2025, we're going over the schedule. We're way ahead of, where we're supposed to be. Our artwork and our lettering for Volume 1 is almost completely done. We have an ash can edition, which is about 17 to about 20 pages in what's called a floppy, kind of a traditional comic book style. That is going to be released in the next month or two. And this is some artwork from Levi Skeen. Lettering is from a gentleman by the name of Keith Gleason. Keith Gleason is a top-notch letterer, and he also designed the Galaxy Memorial Park logo as well. And as I said, we're almost done with Volume 1. The artwork is done with Volume 2, very nearly. The initial artwork. There is finishes and stuff to be done there. So there is artwork from Levi, more artwork from Levi Skeen. This is again from Volume 1. And you can see that's US Arrow. There are a couple more heroic characters. The blonde guy in the back, that is Professor Litmus. He is our science, our high science character. Pardon me. And in the background, that is Atreva. It's kind of hard to see him, but he's almost kind of a Thor. He is not like a mythological barbarian kind of guy, who's part of a larger mythological fantasy world. So this is from Volume 2. In addition to all this, we have a couple of other artists. So because Galaxy Memorial Park it has to do with the past, with characters that have passed on, different superheroes or people that knew them. They visit the park and they think about things that have gone on. This is a flashback illustrated by Brazilian artist Marcelo Salazza. One of the things that Levi and I wanted to do was to give outside artists the ability to illustrate little tiny snippets of our graphic novel. So there are many places, like say in Volume 2, that's where this artwork is from. This is a remembrance. This is US Arrow as drawn by Marcelo Salazza. remembering something that happened way back in the 80s or 90s. So this is an incident from like a couple of decades past, and we decided to give outside artists a chance to illustrate these memories as they happen. And like I said, this is something that US Aero is remembering. Here is another individual, a gentleman by the name of Dio, or which is short for Dionysus. My apologies, Dio. I have completely Adelinus. Dio Adelinus. He is he does mostly he does like a lot of like horror related things. This is a remembrance from again from say the early 1990s, and he is illustrating a very perilous situation to a couple of civilians and a very, very, very bad dude, the dude with the eyebrows that you see right there. A great street level organized crime kind of thug. So this is Dio Adelinus. Hopefully I am not butchering that name. But that is some of the artwork. But again, I would encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. You will get a free short story about all these different characters, such as Stone, the Drifter, Comet Boy, Ms. Frost. These are all heroes from the world of Galaxy Memorial Park. Now, so again, the next interview that I will be doing, if he's up for it, is Levi Skeen, where we're basically just going to be a couple of professionals or independent I can't even really call myself a professional at this point. However, we're a couple of creators talking about our creation. That's what we're going to do. All right. So upcoming, I decided to do these in the middle of the afternoon instead of like 9 o'clock at night. Saturdays seem to be the best. I may even do like a random stream, say in the evening. I probably won't be interviewing anybody at that time unless they say, hey, the only time I've got is, 10 o'clock my time or something like that. But I do want to, I hate the word content, but I do want to provide you with a little bit more things to enjoy, things to watch. So it's about 3 o'clock. I actually did do an hour stream. How about that? All right. Thank you very much. I would encourage you, please like this episode. Subscribe. I would like to see this channel grow. What is the vision I have for this? Well, it's not only a promotional, it's just like our newsletter. And again, please, I encourage you, sign up for our newsletter. Even if you don't back the book, please back the book. You can at least receive short fiction featuring Comet Boy, featuring US Arrow, The Drifter. We have stories already done. So we encourage, and they're on the only place that you will be able to get them, that you will be able to read them, is in our newsletter. I might even put like a sample up, but the ending you're going to have to read for yourself in our newsletter. All right, thank you very much. Again, share, please share this. This is going out over YouTube. At the moment, I don't have capabilities to put this out over Rumble or X, but that is something that I hope to take care of here in a little bit. Thank you very much. Thanks, Levi. I see you're probably the one watching right now, and I will definitely be giving you the moderator wrench once I end the stream. Thank you once again for everybody that watches this after the fact. It's great just to hear somebody, talking about what it is that they're working on. I will listen to people's podcasts or their streams just to find out who they are and what they're doing. I encourage you to share what Levi and I are doing. And hopefully this, our Galaxy Memorial Park idea is intriguing enough that you will subscribe to the sub creators to our Galaxy Memorial Park YouTube channel, and especially to our X and our Instagram. All right, you guys have a good one, and I will be talking to you soon, if not before next Saturday.